Army veteran says there were several red flags. It was only supposed to be one passenger, not four. And then they asked him about how much money he made. They changed their destination to a darkened location, and then it appeared they dropped a gun in the back seat. So he saw a security vehicle near the Brookfield Mall and came up with his escape. Main task at hand is registering people for September's Race for the Cure and starting the fundraising now. The turnout overwhelming and certainly gratifying for the organizers. Whitney and Mike, after we heard from so many witnesses, now we here at CBS 58 News can let the viewers see exactly what happened. We're celebrating another turkey donation here. Here's the lucky bobblehead recipient. Hello, sir. What's your name? Where are you from? Layton, where we are kicking off our annual toy collection for the Salvation Army Christmas Toy Shop. Already wonderful gifts, really a critical need for dolls of color. So those who have stopped by so far, thank you so much. Some really in-depth conversation about symptoms and about fear. But it's all right, because the reassurance that I'm hearing coming back over the phone lines really is finally getting the conversation going here. This is no stuffy breakfast, and why not celebrate? This year alone, more than $126,000 is going to some 24 organizations throughout the region. Okay, nobody's saying you can reach the heights of Anthony Pettis, but here at Rufus Sport, they really do encourage people to give it a try. The combat sport allows you to actually connect with your workout and see things about yourself both inside and out. This is usually a busy time. It's service industry night, so there are drink specials for all the servers in town. But right now, it's a little quiet, and this is probably why. All this stuff you have to muddle through, several inches thick. You can just imagine what it's like to try and move your car out of this. But these huge chunks of big, wet, heavy snow we're seeing collecting even in the intersections here in downtown Milwaukee. In fact, it's become so challenging that even the people whose job it is to clear the roads are getting stuck. We caught one incredible, albeit little embarrassing scene at North and Prospect for a DPW driver with that big truck, that big plow truck. The person was still having problems getting through.
I want you to know how it feels.
For the first time and only on CBS 58, a local Lyft driver breaks his silence about the night he says he was forced to open fire on fleeing passengers. Good afternoon. The Army veteran who fired upon several Lyft passengers says his decision to open fire was because he feared for his life.
He says there were several red flags before he pulled his gun. Namely, one man called for the ride, but three others jumped in at the last minute when he arrived. They asked during that ride how much money he made, and then changed their destination to a darkened area behind a building. And there was that sound.
And at that point is when I heard a little ping in my back seat. Metal on metal makes a distinct sound. I'm very familiar with that sound. So that's the fourth red flag, and I'm on high alert right now. I'm in survival mode because I'm thinking, okay, this is not good.
Did you see a gun?
When I heard the ping, I looked in my rearview mirror, and it looked like he was stuffing it back in his coat.
At that point, he made a decision to drive towards a security car he saw near the Brookfield Mall. His passengers at that point trying to get out of the car while it was moving. But not until he put it in park did the doors unlock, and all four bailed out.
I got out at the same time they did. I turned around, I had my firearm concealed. I turned around, I already had a round chambered, and I fired 4 shots downrange. Now, I could have hit all 4 of them easily. Easily, I could have hit all 4 of them. I didn't shoot to hit anybody. I wanted to scare the shit out of them and keep them running because I didn't want to be shot myself.
What would you say to those they were running away? Why did you have to fire off your gun?
When you're in that position and you've got 4 people that outnumber you, you want to make sure that they get the message to keep running.
One of the 3 is now charged in connection with an illegal cell phone ring. No charges have been filed in regards to the shots fired case. Now, we have more with the driver coming up on the news at 4, including the danger he says facing all ride-sharing drivers and how they're coping. And later, we'll also be posting the full interview so you can take time to digest the whole story. That will be on our website at cbs58.com.
And then Tiff looked and she goes, Jim, there's a house by your folks. It's expensive. And it's like, man, this is fantastic.
But no sooner did the Millers get settled in West Allis when their youngest of 3, Gabriel, got so sick he would collapse.
I couldn't breathe for a second. and I was feeling like I was gonna die.
His parents felt just as helpless, and soon the emergency room became their second home.
His chest would cave in like he was fighting to get a breath. All we can do is watch and pray that you figure out what's happening to him.
After months at Children's Hospital, the diagnosis finally, severe asthma.
So here we have Gaby's nebulizer.
And that's when the American Lung Association sent in caseworker Sarah Brundage with Partners for Asthma Action.
It's not something like blood pressure where you can take a med or maybe do a small dietary change.
So those inhalers are not a magic bullet?
No, they are not. As you can see, the floor, they have very little carpeting, and that's because carpeting harbors dust mites. They've also gotten rid of a lot of the clutter and knickknacks in their homes so that that doesn't collect dust, and they clean pretty regularly. Also air purifiers for them to kind of help with the dust situation.
Whole 9 yards?
Yes.
And Gabriel's still sick?
Still has troubles. Now we have to branch out, think outside the box. What else is he around a lot of the time that could be contributing? The construction's right there. It's very different from inside dust. This is particles like ground up.
A warm, breezy day like this sure feels nice, but just because you can't see the dust doesn't mean the particles aren't there and making Gabriel's condition worse.
You don't have to be standing in the middle of a sandstorm or a dust cloud. Dust is so tiny, you can breathe it in from miles, blocks away.
Free of charge, Brundage lobbied the Department of Transportation to make some changes, most importantly spraying down all the dust more than usual. Some of the workers even befriended Gabriel, who would momentarily venture outside, as long as he was wearing a mask.
Somewhere down in here there was a blue flag that let them know that this is where Gabe lived.
I think they're doing a great job, but the environment's huge.
Things are different for him this year. He didn't spend the entire summer in the hospital.
But Tiffany, Jim, you don't go outside the house.
Let's be honest, we risk it.
The Millers waiting to see what happens once Sioux Interchange construction is complete, but they know there's a tough decision waiting down the road.
Probably we'll have to move if we can't find the fix.
This is your time.
And now the comeback song has become Gabriel's anthem for a day when he won't have to cover his face just to go outside. In West Dallas, Michele McCormack, CBS 58 News. This afternoon, helping out a hero, Gary Wetzel Appreciation Day in South Milwaukee. Vietnam veteran and Medal of Honor recipient Gary Wetzel would have loved to be rolling in on 2 wheels, but still rehabbing from a broken pelvis after a motorcycle crash, he had to settle for the wheelchair to thank the people who turned out for a benefit in his honor.
I'm ecstatic. I'm from my heart, I'm really happy, and I'm glad there's a lot of people I know, a lot of people I don't know. They came out to say, hey, Gary, you're going to make it.
Organized by Anthony and Jennifer Winishek, the owners of Tracker's Pub and Grub in South Milwaukee. The tavern, a nickname Anthony picked up as a Marine. His fellow members of the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association Milwaukee chapter donated the food, and when Jennifer asked, the raffle items came pouring in, including an autographed Packers team football.
This is what we do, and it wouldn't be just for Gary. We would do this for any veteran that comes home today and is looking for a place where they feel like they're home.
Gary's a veteran, and he's one of our brothers. I consider him my brother, being Anthony's wife. We have just had an outpour of support with Gary, and he does things for a good cause himself, so it's just time to give back.
No one would argue if you referred to Gary Wetzel as an American hero, but for many here in South Milwaukee, he's just Gary, somebody who's always given back to the community, so why not give back to him? And that's something you don't have to be a biker or a veteran to understand.
He beats the streets and he does things to raise money for people. So, we want to just, while he's down and out, we want him to know that we have his back so that he can maybe support or do whatever he needs to do to cover some loose end expenses.
And we'll see you next year back on the bike?
It's being fixed as we speak, you betcha. I'll be back on. Can't put an old dog like me down.
Organizers say while the care Gary's receiving at the VA Medical Center has been wonderful, they wanted him to have a little extra cash on hand for anything unexpected that might come up. Maybe even help to get him back on his bike. Either way, it's up to Gary. It's the least he deserves.
The